Oh, God, we made it. What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com. Here, you know what I am. This is Daryl Dixon, season 3, episode 7. If you're brand new and you just jumped into I'm blind. So basically, this is me talking about how I never really understand what's going on. I love the Walking Dead franchise. Before I lost my sight, I was watching The Walking Dead, and I lost my sight while watching The Walking Dead, and I kind of finished it out. I had some friends who watched it with me, and they would tell me what's going on because The Walking Dead has no audio description. And because I would consider The Walking Dead my favorite show of all time. Seriously, I'm not kidding. I would put that up there. I'm low key obsessed with it. I'm low key obsessed with The Walking Dead in the way that people are obsessed with Harry Potter. So I've seen all the spinoffs, Fear the Walking Dead, uh, and I tried to watch that one with the kids. That was not good. I watched the first season and then I just didn't come back for the second one. I can't remember what it's called. World Beyond. Was that it? I've seen Tales. I've seen Dead City, Ones Who Live. I'm still watching Dead City. I actually like Dead City. So Daryl Dixon has always been kind of a mess when they sent him off to Europe. First of all, it's weird to just suddenly Daryl Dixon's in Europe. But it also makes it really hard to not have audio description because there's so much dialogue that's not in English, and I can't read subtitles. So um, without a dub cast or an audio description cast, I never really know what's going on. So for like half this episode, I really didn't know what was going on. And there was like a war. Daryl and the girl that he was with made it out. It's okay. Um, I know Carol went back for the father. I don't think she got him though. Maybe he died. But the guy that ran the village. Anyway, they got to the boat sequence, and of course the boat dies because God forbid these people make it home. But there's this one scene, I just felt like it summed up all of Daryl Dixon. And he just says, "Why the fuck did I leave?" And I was like, oh my God. I think that's what all of Daryl Dixon fans have been thinking this whole time. Why the fuck did you leave? Well, first of all, there's an answer to that. But I mean, like in general, like, why are you here? Like he has this like really sort of like crisis, like internal crisis where he has this monologue and he talks about like, why is he here? And he's like, well, I was always roaming. I could never stay in one place. And I was like, that's bullshit, first of all. But, okay. I guess try to gaslight people who watched 11 seasons of Walking Dead. You didn't move the entire time Judith was like, being raised. You know, you took care of Judith and raised her in Rick's stead. The reason you left was to find Rick. That is why you left. So when you say, why did I leave? It was to find Rick. You just got lost along the way, trapped on a boat and sent off to Europe. So the question of why you left was because the writers suck and don't know what else to do. Would have made way more sense for you to just end up in a different part of America that hadn't been yet explored by the zombie apocalypse. Or even Canada, you know? You want to get a little bit of French in there, send them up to like Montreal. But it's not like we've been everywhere in this country. So, could you imagine Daryl down in like the Everglades? Like, I feel like I feel like he's of the Everglades, right? Like, that would be with him, crocodiles and zombies. Oh, that would have been fun. No, he's got to go off to France. And then after 2 seasons, after they built a whole French landscape for him, they abandon it and don't bring any of the characters into season 3. So it's just him and Carol because Melissa McBride changed her mind after the show started shooting. She said, never mind, I do want to do the show. I like paychecks. So she was probably thinking to herself, well, let me see if I get job offers. And then she didn't. So she chose the paycheck. So then we had to spend all of season 2 like retconning her into the show. She had to fly in like a twin engine plane over to Europe. None of this makes any sense. And then they go up to UK at the beginning of the season and they meet, I think it was played by Stephen Merchant. They meet like a British guy. And then they get on a boat and then they're back down in fucking Spain. Like, why couldn't we be in the UK? Why couldn't I finally understand like an entire cast without subtitles, without audio description to translate? No, we're in Spain again, so I have no idea what's going on in the show. And I just love Daryl's monologue about like why the fuck did he leave. So No, Daryl doesn't just run away all the time. And when Daryl does run away, he basically just like he's a loner. Like the Walking Dead series highlighted a couple times that he was off by himself. You know, Carol could have said the same thing because she went and lived in a house by herself after she realized she's murdered a lot of children. She had like a crisis and went to live by herself, and Daryl came to visit her a couple times. But yeah, there was a period of time where like Daryl was living in the cabin in the woods. There was that whole backstory where he met Leah, and they fell in love, and dog was like a little puppy. It's dog's origin story. So, um, and we saw that play out later in the Walking Dead. So I guess but he didn't like he was within traveling distance of the rest of the Walking Dead family. So he didn't get on his motorcycle and ride with Norman Reedus. No, instead, he just went and lived in a cabin in the woods by himself. But but when he needed to step up, he stepped up and he stayed around, and he and Michonne took care of Judith and RJ, and you know, like they did what they were supposed to do. So he is perfectly capable of staying in one place at one, and honestly, yeah, he hit the road, but it was to find Rick and bring him home. Like he knows where his home is. He's not. They've turned him into this like crisis character where he's like, I can't stay in one place. Gotta keep going. Gotta keep moving. Like, The Walking Dead took place over, God, a long period of time. Because when you think about the fact that Judith wasn't even born in season one, she was like a concept. So we had to go through Judith's entire lifespan. Um, I don't know. It's just that one speech. If you get a chance to check out the finale, I feel like it's the whole show, but I feel like the writers don't know it's the whole show. It's the why the fuck am I here? And then it's like, yes, that is the perfect question. Why are you here? Go home. Go home, Daryl. Go home. This show needs to end as one more season left. It needs to end with him back in America and reuniting with whoever's willing to show up and hug him at the end of The Walking. It would be nice if it was Norman Reedus and Andrew Lincoln just reuniting because, you know, since his whole purpose in life was to find Rick, it would be nice if he saw that Rick was safe. And the catalyst for the show, a nice, you know, resolution. Do I think we're going to get that? No, I think the writers of this show are the worst writers The Walking Dead has ever had. So we'll see. But yeah, this is definitely going to be a rotten review of the show. I mainly because of the lack of accessibility makes it almost near impossible to understand. Plus, I actually don't even like the story this season. I was like a huge fan of France and like the boys, the prophet, but I was like, well, at least that's an interesting take. Over here, they're just like, it's just more bullshit. This is typical Walking Dead bullshit in Spain. There's no child prophet here. There's just these like weird communities that have, and it's like, well, we experience this in America. So is that your take now? Is that the same sort of thing that happens in America happens in Spain? Okay, why are we here? Like, what makes this different? Like, what is the purpose of this? To show us that there are these warring communities that have to trade. I mean, basically, the way this one guy operates by giving up things to other communities, like he's trying to protect his community, is the same sort of relationship that like Ezekiel had with Negan, you know, like and Hilltop, right? Was this they had to deal with this like with the saviors until Rick and Cruz showed up. So we're just reliving a storyline. This is not great writing. So even though I love The Walking Dead, I hate this season of Daryl Dixon, and I'm not looking forward to season 4, but I will finish the show. God, as far as a score, I don't think anybody gave a good performance. I noticed like Melissa McBride felt off this season too. Like I thought she was better, and here she just kind of feels aloof. She didn't get nearly the great dialogue she's gotten before. She didn't get the great badass sequences she got before. She felt very different this season. It felt like they got a whole set of new writers who've never watched or written for The Walking Dead, And I don't think it benefited the show. And it certainly led to some really awkward dialogue for these characters that have been Daryl and Carol for like, what, like 15 years now? So they should just be improvising dialogue at this point. That'd be better than having new people write for them. So yeah, there's really not much reward here other than the fact that it's simply a Walking Dead show and I inherently enjoy things that are Walking Dead. I'm gonna go with like a 3.1 out of 10, which is rotten. I did not like this season, and the lack of audio description accessibility makes it really hard. 3.1 is honestly a little high, so it's getting some bonus points for simply being in The Walking Dead, because there's between the not being able to understand the zombie attack sequences and the heavy amount of Spanish. I mean, like, I'm working on my Duolingo, but I'm not fluent in Spanish. I picked up words, but that's different. Like, knowing a word that was said in a sentence just gives you, like, a word. It doesn't give you the sentence, and you don't know what the context of it is. So I had a hard time following them based on the limited amount of Spanish that I know. So there's a difference between fluency and simply, like, having, like, a touristy knowledge of el baño, you know, donde está el baño? You know, I mean, it didn't help me. So, yeah, 3.1 out of 10 is what we're going to go with here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll be back next season for the final season of Daryl Dixon to see if they send this fucker home. If they don't, I'm going to riot. I'm going to riot. It's the one thing I care about. If you don't send this motherfucker home, I swear to God. I swear to God. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the other side.